So before today, in order to get a true traveler GMT or jump hour GMT, you would actually have to go and buy a luxury brand such as a Tudor, a Grand Seiko, or even a Rolex in order to get that type of complication. Now, GMTs are everywhere, but to get a true jump hour GMT or a true traveler GMT, you'd have to spend $4,000 on up. But today, I have a watch that's actually going to cost you 1/4 of a Tudor, for instance, and that is the Jack Mason Stratotimer GMT, which actually encases the new exclusive Miyota 9075 movement. Is this watch a good alternative to the Tudor? I'm going to let you guys know if this watch is worth your hard-earned money on this episode of Alright, today we are featuring the Jack Mason Stratotimer Automatic GMT 200 meters of water resistance here. This particular watch will be released March 2023. They're actually taking pre-orders as we speak. The version I have here is the Americana, which is the version that they're going to have the most quantity. This one actually is going to be limited to 300 pieces. They also will have the candy corn version with 100 pieces and the espresso, which is the most popular and going fast, at 100 as well. They're actually a little bit more than halfway through at this time that I'm filming this video, so you definitely want to jump on the espresso if you're interested. So what are you getting with this watch? Well, we're going to take a look at it really up close, and as you'll notice, you get a really awesome box crystal with sapphire, and it is AR coated underneath. All right. Now, if you take a really close look at that second hand, okay? You've got the lollipop here, but take a look at that counterbalance. That's actually a really cool Easter egg that I actually didn't notice until maybe a day later. And I love that color. And of course that splash of red there as well. But obviously on the counterbalance you've got the colors of the American flag. Americana, that's what they call this watch. Of course you've got the red, blue, white indices for the red, white, and blue. You've got the red, so you got a lot of red, white, and blue playing here, guys. A really, really cool concept. And this is actually hand assembled in Texas. And also, the Miyota GMT is also regulated in Texas as well. So, really cool facts here. This is mostly an American watch. Obviously, you've got some outsourced parts that are going to come from, for instance, the Miyota movement is a Japanese movement, and I'll tell you what, this is actually a pretty exclusive movement. The design director actually has a personal relationship with Miyota, and Jack Mason was actually very fortunate to actually be chosen to receive this movement, Boulder being the other micro brand. Now you can see this movement in major brands such as Bulova and Citizen, but let me tell you, you're not going to get the specs that you're going to get in this watch, and I'm going to give it to you right here, right now. So when we take a look at the dial, what we see, at least with the indices, we see like a chisel head look there. As you can see, that step down, they are polished stainless steel indices, and you get those fence post handset as well. Lollipop second hand with that American flag counterbalance. Look at the red touch on that GMT hand. That really makes this a very legible dial here. And that blue really does sparkle in the light, and we do get that AR coating underneath the crystal, which is a sapphire box crystal. Now you're also going to get sapphire around the bezel itself, and the bezel is loomed along with this dial. It is an absolute torch. And now this is a prototype, by the way, guys, so the lume on the bezel is not going to shine as bright as the post-production model. Now we do get a sapphire sandwich, meaning that we get an exhibition case back with sapphire crystal as well. And as you can see, this actually has a decorated rotor, and we can see that it has Jack Mason right there. This is a 24 jewel movement, and again the 9075 Miyota from Japan. We do get a pretty nicely decorated movement, by the way. It's really, it's obviously not to the standard of like, a higher end brand, but I mean, it's very impressive for a Miyota, a Japanese movement especially. So I have to give kudos to Miyota for that. As you can see, this is designed in Texas. This is assembled in Texas. This is actually, the movement is regulated in Texas as well. And I'm going to show you guys a time graph here and show you the accuracy. This watch is actually really dialed in at just about 1 to 2 seconds per day. Very, very impressive. So, price tag on this is $999. Now, as you guys get up off the floor, let me explain to you something here. That's actually not a bad price, because here is the party trick of the night. We're going to unscrew the crown, and we're going to pop it out one position, and check this out. You have a true Traveler's GMT. This is actually what we call the jump hour. So, for instance, if you are indeed a resident of New York and you wanted to travel to the West Coast, instead of popping the crown out and adjusting it back to 3 hours, what you can do is just simply pop it out once, and now you're back 3 hours. Now, before this movement came out, you had to go with Tudor, Grand Seiko, or even Rolex, for instance. Now we know how much these watches cost. This one in particular retails in right around $4,100. This one does the exact same thing. You'll pop it out once, and you can go back and forward just like the Miyota. So now you don't have to spend $4,100, or in Rolex case, a ton of money. Okay, I'm not even going to go there, right? Grand Seiko, you're also going to spend, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 as well. So, $999, not too bad, especially now because you don't really have a lot of choices. I mean, Miyota is not going to be sourcing these out the way that Seiko has been sourcing out their GMT. Okay, and the Seiko GMT is not a true Traveler GMT, by the way. All right, I just want to let you know that. So if you want a true GMT, something that is more, I don't want to say rare, but exclusive, Jack Mason and then Boulder are the only two micro brands that are going to be having this particular movement at the time. From what I understand, Miyota is going to be picking out maybe another 1 or 2 more, possibly more, but it's not going to be all over the place the way that Seiko has their GMT movements. And also, of course, their NH movements are just everywhere. So Miyota is going to be very exclusive with these movements. So I'm going to get off my soapbox with that and get you guys more into the watch itself. We do get brushing on the top of the lugs. This is a really, I'm going to be honest with you, when I look at the case, it screams Seiko to me, okay? We do get polishing here, and you get that really stubby lug look. So obviously it's going to have a really good lug to lug and fit on a majority of wrists very, very nicely. We get a 41.4 millimeters in case diameter. You're getting 13.3 millimeters in width. That box sapphire is going to give you a little bit of a thicker measurement, but it doesn't feel thick because it's that, as you can see, that box sapphire really does stick up pretty high. Also, our lug to lug is actually going to be only 46.8 millimeters lug to lug. And that is, again, because of the way that this is designed. That's really, really good design there. Now, our lug width is actually going to be 20 millimeters, so you can definitely put a lot of different straps on here. But I'll be quite honest with you, this is actually a really beautiful Jubilee bracelet. You've got brushing on the outside and polishing on the middle links. Now, this is a prototype, so we don't get the fly adjust, micro adjust that this watch is going to come with. So this one here, the prototype, just has the simple micro adjusts, just like the $4,000 Tudor. Now, that's going to be the other thing, guys. You know, you're going to pay $9.99 for something that you can typically get on a Rolex, which is going to be that on the fly adjust system. So that'll be a really, really nice touch. Beautiful clasp here with Jack Mason, very humbly imprinted on this. You do get a dual deployant clasp, milled clasp, fold over, and it just engages very nicely. Let me give you guys some bezel action. Check that out. This is a bi-directional bezel. All right, and this is a screw down crown, by the way. Coin edge. Got the American flag there, just like we do on, we have the star on the crown along with the star, which is the Jack Mason logo. Pops out just fine. Obviously, we know the first position will do the date function. Now, because this is a prototype, this is not switching over at the 12th position. Expect this to switch over at the 12th position. I did confirm that with Jack Mason. They put these together really quickly for that wind-up show in New York City that I actually had the privilege of being at, and actually had the privilege of meeting the owner and Peter, the designer. And I'll tell you, I was very impressed. So I was really happy to link up with them, and they sent this out to me for review. So I want to thank them very much for doing so. The second click will adjust the time and that GMT hand. So once you have that GMT set, let's just say you wanted to set it to 8 a.m. In the UK, for instance, you can set there, and then you can adjust your hour hand to wherever time zone you're at, and that's how you would do that. And yet you could see, you can even go backwards. See? You can go back and forth with the date. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. So, screw in the crown action. Not a lot of wobble there, which is nice. Very nice feel to that. A little bit gritty, like a typical Miyota. But it does have a good feel to it. And then screwing it down is very, very simple. No crown guards needed. It gives it a nice cleaner look and gives it a more slimmer look too. And I do like that. I like that, and the fact that you can screw it down definitely protects that crown. No worries or issues there whatsoever. All right, so some of the perks that you're going to get with the first 500 people that order this watch, you're going to get an extra FKM Tropic strap, and you're also going to get a limited edition handmade leather strap. On top of that, you're going to get a 20% discount on all Jack Mason straps for an entire year. You're going to get a digital printout of the original GMT sketch, and then lastly, you're going to get exclusive access to the new dive watch that they'll be producing as well. So definitely get some perks along with the purchase, the first 500 on this watch. One of the other improvements that they did say that they were going to do is the bezel clicking. I feel like the bezel clicks are actually really good here, and everything does line up, but they did say there's going to be some improvement. The tolerances will be tightened, so just want to let you guys know about that. Besides that, I'm going to flip the camera around and give you guys some final thoughts. So at the end of the day, I think it's a great size. It's a great thickness. I mean, it really is going to be a nice daily wear, as opposed to the Tudor, which is a bigger and a chunkier watch, as you can see right here. There we go. So if you want a more wearable watch than that Tudor GMT and pay about 1/4 of what it costs for one of these, yeah, you definitely want to go with a Jack Mason. Now, am I comparing the two? Of course not, you know, because Tudor has their exclusive in-house movement. They have that horology, and of course that link to Rolex that obviously Jack Mason will not be able to offer you. But if you want that exclusivity of the Miyota movement, that's not going to be given out to every micro brand like that NH35 was in 2021. 2021. You're definitely going to go with this. I mean, basically you're going to have one of a few choices, Boulder being the other one. And of course, if you want to go with Citizen or Bulova, you're not going to get that fine tuning. With Jack Mason, what they'll do is they actually calibrate their own movements by hand. These are hand assembled. You're getting a sapphire sandwich, you're getting AR coating, you're getting a very quality bracelet. Jack Mason also offers all those exclusive goodies that I mentioned as well. So that's basically my 2 cents, guys, and I want to thank Jack Mason for giving me the opportunity to give you guys my 2 cents. Again, you guys can get these in March of 2023, but pre-ordering is now, so you definitely want to jump on board, especially for that espresso, which is actually selling out pretty quickly. That one's limited to 100 pieces, and more than half of them are already gone, so jump on that if you want that one. Luckily, the Americana is going to have 300, so that is actually going to be the most out of the 500 that they have. Again, the other one being the candy corn. So there you go, guys. Always remember that there's always time to be kind to one another, and take care of each other, and I'll see you guys next time on AvgJoeWatchReviews. God bless, my friends.